Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. Tonight, I have the presentation that was brought forward a couple months ago to the council meeting that highlighted some of the research that was found on elected official compensation. So just a recap on that, the current commissioner pay rate is $17,400 annually. It's increased from $13,500 back in FY19. The vice mayor received an additional $300 stipend, and we were unable to locate any records, ordinance, or compensation methodology to get to that number. The applicable section of the charter is section 2.03. It does state that the council shall receive a salary provided by law and ordinance. We were unable to find an ordinance that specifically laid out the methodology for the compensation. And it does, just a reminder, highlight that no compensation ordinance shall become effective until the duties of the commencement of the terms of commissioners elected at the next regular election. There's also a 6-month window in the charter as well. I did make an update to this slide with the current population, which is 66,850. That did drop the commissioner per capita from 28 cents per capita to 26 cents per capita. Again, the average without Apopka considered is 31 cents. This is the bar chart showing in relation to where the city stands compared to those same entities. And we talked about having this workshop to discuss the council's pleasure on a methodology for us to prepare an ordinance to bring back. I did put together an example for discussion topic. Again, this is totally up to what you all would like to do as far as a methodology. But the example I put together on the slide is to set the per capita rate at 30 cents. If you remember, I just mentioned the average of the prior slide was 31. And increase that salary at every 5,000 person population increase. Review the population annually during adoption of annual budget. And I laid out what that chart below shows you. Every 5,000 increase shows you the increase in salary. So it's a $1,500 increase every 5,000 residents. So that's what I have. Again, there's no real standard that we've been able to identify across the various cities on how they've come up with their methodology. Some do the per capita, some just do a flat rate. So that's what I have right now.
Any questions for Radley? Anybody?
So where it says commissioner per capita, I mean, I see all the different, I guess, cents, about 37 cents, 28 cents. Did we find out how they determine?
If you remember, the per capita was just to put there to try and give you a standard number to look at. So some of those just set a rate, and we backed out to get to the per capita.
Oh, okay. So some of them didn't have it per capita. They just had a set salary, and then
they just had a set salary,
and you broke it down.
We broke it down so you could look
and see
and have a standard to look at.
What each resident.
Correct. If you were to go that methodology, that's where the city would stand.
But we couldn't find anything in our regular ordinance, which was.
No, our understanding was that the methodology was there was a rate or a flat amount set. Then every so often, based on population, it would get readjusted. And that's how we've moved up over the years. We have not been able to find how that actually happened.
Mm. And we only started in 2019 that we started to do that.
Yeah, we went and looked back at 2019.
Because before that, it was just the standard for years and years, everyone was just receiving the 13,000, the commissioners.
So again, we tried to put together the per capita to give you something to standardize off of. But open to obviously a discussion on how you'd like to proceed.
Now, the problem with, I mean, the numbers are the numbers. The problem is when you throw in the health insurance, it skews, the number. So, for instance, Winter Garden, okay, they only pay them $7,200, but that includes health insurance. Well, I can assure you that the health insurance would more than offset the difference between what our commissioners are making and what Winter Garden. So, ask you maybe you or Blanche would know. Do you know what our do we have is the cost on the clinic? Do we pay like a okay, Brad? Do you know what the cost per member is for?
Yeah, so for the clinic, we pay a 23 per person per month fee. And then we're billed for any medication, labs, tests, anything like that, billed on top of that.
So that would be
23 what?
that's
$23
$23?
a month. So annually, we're paying $276 a person, plus any medication, testing, labs, those type of things. Those get added on that the city pays.
so the city pays for those, and the employee collects that benefit for no cost.
Correct.
Okay.
So all medical, all tests, all labs are free through
The tests that are done at the clinic.
at the clinic. Okay.
At the
It's
clinic.
not minimal. I think we have we got an X-ray.
I think we have an X-ray. We do some labs at the clinic. Obviously, if you go to a specialist, that's going to go to an outside doctor.
So, I mean, one of the kind of I don't know, compromise, but maybe something to look at is because it wouldn't be bad for obviously the commission to kind of see how that works, is to add them to the clinic so if you want to use the doctors, the problem is to go to full blown insurance. I know I think we're over 1,000 a month. It's a big number.
Yeah. So the employee only is $1,018 a month. So annually it would be $12,216.
But kind of a compromise in between if we gave the free clinic so that you wouldn't have, so like right now you have a copay to go to see a doctor. So if you use the clinic, and I go there on my regular scheduled visits, it would be free, and so you'd be just like all the other 500 employees plus dependents that go to the clinic.
I mean, that would
Well,
that
so
would be a
like-
benefit for the commissioners who
Yeah.
want the health service.
But
I
if you-
don't need the health insurance.
Well, I think we look at
But that's me
as
personally. I
as a
don't
whole.
need it.
But if you
I
look
don't
at
know what
Sanford, who is actually
Medicare.
comparable,
Well, but you do, but you have a copay, and you don't have a copay for go to see a doctor.
No, because I have my insurance from the
New
New York
York.
City Police Department. They
So you're 100% covered.
just
Okay.
just about plus the veterans.
Okay.
So I don't.
You don't,
need the
but
insurance.
okay, but
Yeah,
Commissioner
but I
Anderson,
know.
well, I think it's just I don't think I think it's more so about the position as a whole, but not as an individual, because we're just temporary in these
Yeah.
seats. So I think it's if you look at Sanford, which is comparables. I mean, I wouldn't compare Lake Mary or Maitland or Longwood because there's 16,000 people, so that's not a comparable. But if you look at Sanford, Winter Garden, Sanford pays. Sanford has health insurance, and they're comparable in size. So I think if anything, we should look towards Sanford because that's where that's the comparable. But Lake Mary, 16,000 people, that's not a comparable.
No, we can't compare.
We can't compare Lake Mary, Maitland, Longwood, DeBerry. I mean, a lot of
The
these are
only
not
one that we
comparables.
have is
In
Sanford.
Sanford, that's a comparable.
And the difference between
In,
our salary in Sanford is about 8,000.
and not only that, they're in their districts,
Yeah.
and they don't
it
even
is.
have the whole entire city, so that's not even.
that's easier.
That's even. Yeah. So if
I
you look
did
at
say that.
comparables,
Well, I think before we take a super deep dive into like on the health insurance and how we're going to calculate it, I think we need to take a step back and look at what is the role of commissioner itself.
Mhm.
Is it full-time or part-time? We need to have that discussion and figure out what that is. If it's regardless of what that is, make that decision And then if it's going to be whatever that is, then tie it to what is already going on within the city. So if it's a part-time position, what's the average part-time salary or hourly rate there? And then apply that to a general number that we decide for part-time for what we do for this position.
Sure.
Health insurance, again, there's not as much as this chart tells us where other cities are at, there's no set metric of how they're getting to these numbers. And I think doing on a per capita basis, I think is inappropriate. I think it's a wrong incentive to get paid, because it can be said, and it has been said up here, that we would just want to approve more developments then so that we can increase our salary. So that's why I don't think it's appropriate to do a per capita number, but base it off of the data and salary study that's already been done within the city itself. I think that's the most appropriate thing to back into. And similar to what we do with our employees as well, is some type of cost of living adjustment as well, some type of COLA built into that. That makes sense, so that, again, it's tied to something, not just we come up with a random, hey, 27 cents, 30 cents, 50 cents, whatever it may be. I think that is the conversation that needs to be had first and foremost before we take deeper dives into how and why and where and what numbers. I think that's where we need to kind of back into our specific scenario, because we are a unique city. We have unique needs. We all do unique service to the community. So that's something that I think we kind of need to have that discussion first before we start talking about health insurance, talking about per capita, anything of that nature. So it's a full-time, part-time position. What is it? And then going from there.
Okay. Well,
Mr. Smith?
I know that we put in a lot of hours. And I know you do. I know that Commissioner Smith does. I mean, we kind of show up everywhere at our community events. We show up here. We certainly spend a lot of time at our council meetings. Um, don't smile, Commissioner Smith. And uh, I mean, we just. I mean, I spend sometimes in the morning. I'll spend 2 to 3 hours just answering emails and kind of researching and helping other people. I would say I would put in between 25 and 35 hours a week with um, the city. And I'm sure each of you can also kind of justify.
Yeah, have our own. And yeah, I think to that extent, or to that end, it's that same exact thing, because I have office hours. We all have our different meetings, school involvements that we're doing in volunteering and showing at community events, things of that nature. So again, it just goes into which side is it full-time or part-time? And again, it helps to build that expectation for residents as well of what they can expect from us, and then back into it from there. So then where do we fall within the bands that have already been created from salary studies? We as a commission should have been part of the salary studies that have taken place and that the city has paid for. So tie it to those, and then again, it creates its own. We don't have to base it on per capita. It's based on you're averaging 25 hours a week, and that's what you get paid at. Whatever our average rate is then too for part-time employees here at the city.
Commissioner Smith, you got any?
Well, if we went, I guess the per capita thing will work until the point that the city's built out, and then when the city's built out, then what do you do?
Yeah, which, true. So more of that's where COLA becomes more of a.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And if you did the 30 cent per capita now, what would that come out to currently?
Well, the averages is not. We should have Lake Mary and.
Yeah, that would be 19,500 because we're a little over 65,000.
Well, I wouldn't really agree with with the averages in some of the cities that's selected, because we don't have comparables. We can't compare ourselves to a population of 16,000 and 19,000.
But the majority of those too, and so that's, again, there's so many variables that are built, not showing or not reflected in these charts, is that It's the form of government with the different cities as well. I think we're the only one that's a strong mayor, if I'm not mistaken, out of these.
Yeah, most of these are,
All of them are.
all of
City
them
All of them
are
are
city
city
Correct.
managers.
manager.
So
And we're the only strong mayors, just Orlando, Orange County, and Apopka.
Eatonville and Eatonville.
Yeah,
Oh,
But
Eatonville is strong mayor?
Mhm.
Okay.
but the thing about strong mayor, I mean, not to belabor the point, but if you go to like Winter Garden they have a city manager and an assistant city manager. Winter Garden, Ocoee, all have assistant city managers. So whether you put the strong mayor in that role, I don't know. Now Orlando's a whole other beast, and they've got multiple people at the top. But Winter Garden, I know Winter Garden and Ocoee both have assistant city managers where we don't.
Mhm.
So um,
Districts.
there is that
And they have districts.
from a management standpoint. So
Where we differ from all of the cities and county is that we don't have districts here.
Mhm.
correct. I don't think all of them have districts. No, they don't. Most of them don't. I know
It
Ocoee
says
does.
Ocoee district,
Winter
no.
Garden. I thought
We don't know.
but again, I get the point at the end of the day is that
It's
a
not
lot of these have so many variables that are built in that
that
it's
it's
hard
hard
to
to.
say, hey, this is a comp because we're doing adjustments that aren't necessarily. It's not dollar for dollar. It's not person for person, commissioner for commissioner. They're all over the place. So that's where I think we kind of take a step back. Not so much. It's great to have this information, but I don't think it should be the end all be all of okay, let's use this data to then derive a number. It's we're our own unique city with again our own unique challenges and the way it's ran and the time we have to put in and things of that nature. So so that's where again it's craft it how we need to that works for our residents and for this commission as well. Do part-time employees have insurance access or any insurance at all?
under 30 hours, no.
No.
That's a state statute. That's not a
But then over 30 they do,
yes.
similar to what a full-time employee would have.
Yes.
Okay.
That's nothing to do with the city. That's state regulation. Or federal.
I think also be able to attract more talent. A lot of people cannot leave their jobs because it's not offering health insurance. So I know a lot of people that want to run for office, but because they don't have health insurance, they have to stay on their job. So I think in order to attract more talent, I think health insurance, and I know we want to kind of, we have to start somewhere with this. So I think the first thing is we decide how we're going to determine the salary. I think that's the first thing. Are we going to use the part-time, full-time, per capital? I mean, where are we going with this?
And then a rougher insurance or not as well
Yeah.
for this position.
I don't think a person will leave their job to become a city commissioner.
No. Some
It's
people
not going to be compatible.
no, I know. But I'm just saying, even if they wanted to do it, part time and they need health insurance, that is a determining factor for some people.
Correct. If they're going to go down from their full-time to a part-time to fit this in,
Mhm.
and they're a qualified candidate and they have the heart for the city and heart to serve, yeah. So it adds that balance for talent to come in. So I'm not pro the per capita calculation, unless there is other data out there that shows that makes sense. Again, I think it should be tied to what our salary studies have already kind of dictated, and back into those numbers from there, and then come up with what our kind of average per week hours that we expect to be working, or that a city commissioner should be working. Build those expectations, and then back into a number from there. That would be my suggestion of how to derive a salary number, and then price out what insurance looks like too.
But if we weren't a part of the study, how are we going to back into it?
Well, use it as if we're part time. Let's average out our part time employees, kind of where those hourly rates break out to, and then moving forward, I think we should be part of a salary study. But I think use the data we have now and available, and build it out from there.
Are we looking at our executive level part time employees? Are we looking at because there's a range of
I think
assuming
I
part-time
think
employees.
let's look at all of it for now, and then we can kind of say, okay, where does this, or just the general average? I mean, that
So, majority of our part-time seasonal employees are going to be at the lower end of the pay band,
That's what I'm
right.
thinking.
but we can certainly pull that information together.
I don't,
Well, I really don't have anybody other than that. I don't know that's a,
Can you come up here, Mrs. Sherman? Sorry. People are always watching. They want to hear you.
The Parks and Rec seasonal staff and the communication, some of the communication people.
and the seasonal
Dispatch.
staff, what
Parks and Rec.
Parks and Rec. Oh,
Yeah.
so I don't think we should
Between like
average out
18
to Parks
18
and
That's
Rec.
just
$20.
seasonal part-time.
That's like high school,
Yeah.
Yeah.
entry level. I don't think that's.
And basically the other ones are the ones for dispatch.
Sure.
Yeah.
So,
Part-time.
I think that it's a starting point, I think, for us. If you want to add a commissioner premium to it, I'm open to the conversation. I think it makes sense. Let's have the conversation, I guess, to see what that looks like, just to see what those numbers shake out to.
So part-time would be $15 an hour?
We're typically between $18 to $20 an hour for those positions.
Okay.
But that's, and this, this, yeah. 24. How many hours? He said 24.
so. What
And,
is,
and then, you know, the only drawback to that, let's assume that we're looking at that per hour, and you're supposed to, based on 25 hours a week, and then the residents say, well, how you document your 25 hours?
no, and you might have 30 hours this week and 10 hours next
Right.
week. And then,
Yeah, I mean that's how this averages out. I mean, if we're going to get to where we're doing time cards, or at the end of the month we're doing some
Oh,
type
God.
of like, I think that's too far. But at the
Yes.
same time,
Oh, no.
I don't think it's hard to see the hours that are put in. I don't think it's. I think residents see us, so I don't think that's a. If that becomes an issue, we can readdress it. It's not like this is going to be set in stone and can't adjust it. It's okay. Let's massage it. Let's move it and adjust it from there. I think it's a starting point. I think is my point.
And then this would be effective when?
At the election, well,
So, the way the charter reads, it can't take effect immediately. It has to be the next election, but there also has to be a 6-month window prior to that election. So it wouldn't be for this next election in March. It'd have to be the one after that.
So talking about 27.
The next when the next seat
28.
28.
Yeah.
Talking about the charter, the charter doesn't have anything in it right now, correct?
The charter just has this language again, just saying that if there is a change to the compensation ordinance, it cannot take effect immediately. It has to be at the next election. Also, there has to be at least 6 months before that next election.
So I think what makes sense is like, let's look at, as long as everybody agrees, let's look at what those numbers look like for part-time. Let's look at what insurance costs would look like, because the cost would only be incurred if each one of us uses it, right? We're not paying it if
No,
we're not
it's-
using it.
yes, you pay $1,000 a month.
Even if we're not, even if I say I'm not signing up for it.
Oh, if you're not signing up for it?
Correct. So it's only if
It's an
we as a
option.
commissioner, it can be offered,
Option.
but it's only
If you
we-
elect to it, yeah, it'd be an
Mhm.
election.
Okay, correct. So it's only the cost as needed, which I think is totally appropriate. Those that need it, great. Those that don't, also great. And then look at COLA, kind of what that looks like as well, adjustment, and see what those numbers kind of shake out to.
And to kind of provide some more framing based on the 25-hour discussion a week, that's 1,300 hours a year. If you back that out of the current salary, you're looking at $1,338.46 an hour.
At the current salary.
At the current salary.
Right.
And that's below minimum wage.
That is a great point to make.
That's at 25 hours a week.
Well, I think because we're not making any final decisions tonight, correct? That's not.
No, it's discussion.
Yeah, just a workshop discussion. So I think let's move forward to that, as long as
I don't think we should.
no, we're not finalizing it, just to have the discussion. of what that looks like overall, and see how that shakes out overall.
That's less than.
And
That's going down.
when we talk about making the insurance optional, so how would that affect the commissioner's salary?
It won't.
So just like an employee can elect not to do the city's insurance, it'd be the same. There's no impact on the salary or the wage.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't get paid more for not using it. You don't get paid less for using it. It's a benefit if as needed.
Correct. And the city employees do have the option to complete an annual health screening with the clinic, which then eliminates their contribution on the base plan.
Mm.
So like I think it's like $10 a pay period, I believe. If they do that annual screening with the health clinic, the city then picks that cost up. So their base plan would be no additional charge to the employee.
Would you find out if the salaries that are out there, how did they determine the salaries for their commissioners?
Yeah, we can certainly reach back out again to see if we can get more clarity.
Yeah,
At the time when we were going through this, this is what they're doing, and this is what they pay. So again, that per capita is really just us trying to give you
yeah, I know.
a standard.
That was something you
But
did
we
just
can
to kind of show.
we can reach
but,
back out
but
to
it's just out of curiosity. Like, how did Sanford determine that the commissioner's salary should be 25?
correct.
How did Winter Garden determine, their salary? Although we can't compare ourselves to anybody that's less than what we are, but Sanford came the closest. There has to be another city. I mean, eliminate Orlando because Orlando is in a
Kissimmee?
Well,
class
if you
all
want,
by
if you want
itself.
to reach out, then it'll probably be like Kissimmee.
Kissimmee.
Kissimmee would be
Yeah.
the
As well,
closest. They're a
Kissimmee.
little higher than us. Kissimmee, and I think St. Cloud's up pretty
Mhm.
close. But
So
that,
we
Kissimmee.
can look at Kissimmee. We can reach back out to Kissimmee, St. Cloud, and Sanford.
and then
to try and
we'll
get
just wipe out
clarity.
the rest of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Just how did they determine the salaries?
Yeah.
Any other questions for Riley before we adjourn? We'll come back at some future date and figure this out. Everybody good?
Well, when he gets if you
Yeah.
can get that information,
Yeah, we'll work on gathering this additional information, get that to you. I can, when I have it available, I can bring it as a city administrator report if you'd like. And
That'd be
then we
great.
can
Yeah.
determine if another workshop in the future wants to be held to talk about.
Perfect.
All right.
perfect.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
See you back here in 30 minutes.
Thank you.